Welcome to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Basic Education Board.
Hello students, how are you? You're welcome again to Biology lesson, Senior 6. I'm Teacher Claude. Today's topic is lymphatic system, Unit 4, circulatory system. What are the objectives of our lesson? At the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the structure of the lymphatic system. And also, you will be able to compare the lymphatic system and blood vascular system. You have to be ready, you have to pay attention, you have to write explanation in your notebook. Follow. When we talk about lymphatic system, what's that? Before, remember, we have seen what you call circulatory system. And when we describe circulatory system, we have said that it is divided into two systems. Do you remember those systems? Yes, I see someone who can try. Yes, try. Oh, wonderful. As he said, we have seen that circulatory system is divided into cardiovascular system, also known as the blood vascular system, and the second one is what? Is the lymphatic system, is what we are going to see today. When we talk about lymphatic system, what's that? Is a system that's composed by tissues and organs. It is also a part of circulatory system. Let's see some parts that make this lymphatic system. Consists of, we have what we call spleen. The second one, we have what we call thymus. The third one, we have what we call lymph nodes. The first one, we have what we call lymph. Those are, you can also add lymph vessels. Those are the components of the lymphatic system. Now, what is spleen? Let's look what is this on the screen. You can look. We have spleen here. It's the largest organ of what? Of lymphatic system. And then what's the role of this spleen? Spleen for the foetus. You know what is foetus? Yes, foetus is when a baby is in the mother's womb, from the second month until the birth, that organism is known as foetus. During this period, this spleen is the one that produces what? Red blood cells in the infant for that foetus. This spleen will produce red blood cells. You know, remember the importance of red blood cells. What's the importance of red blood cells? Yeah, we have talked about this. Yes, you can try. Yes. Oh, nice. Red blood cells help in the transport of respiratory gases. So even the fetus, that organism in the mother's womb, needs what? Needs oxygen. Yeah. Then, after birth, the work of this spleen is going to change. Spleen is going now to do what? To produce antibodies to fight against what? The disease. And also, this spleen is going to be used as storing of what? Of platelets. That is the role of spleen. And then we have this part also known as the thymus. Thymus is very developed in the early childhood. It is developed, it's found here in the sternum, is where it's found. What's the role of this thymus? Thymus, it helps in the generation of what you call T cells. T cells. Those T cells, they are used in the immunity. They help to protect the body against the diseases. So that one is produced by this thymus. And then, thymus is very developed in the infant. And then when you grow, that thymus is going to be degenerated. And then finally, we have these lymph nodes. The lymph nodes here, if you see on the diagram, lymph nodes are those small nodes. We have these lymph nodes here. We have lymph nodes here. There are very many. Those lymph nodes, what are the importance of the lymph nodes? Lymph nodes, they are there just to protect the body against diseases. How? These lymph nodes, they are going to produce what we call lymphocytes. You know what's lymphocyte? We have seen when we talked about cardiovascular system. Yes, you can try to answer. Yes? Oh, nice. Lymphocyte is one of the white blood cells that help to produce antibodies. It is not only found in the blood vascular system, it is also found where? It is also found in the lymphatic system. And then it is produced by what you call these lymph nodes. And then what's happened? What's happened when you get, for example, an infectious pathogens? Pathogen is an organism that can cause disease. What's happened for these lymph nodes? Now, when you get that pathogens, for example, bacteria or virus, these lymph nodes, they are going to produce what? The lymphocytes. The lymphocytes are going to be multiplied. Why they are multiplied? They are multiplied to do what? To engulf bacteria, engulf and kill bacteria. That is how these lymphocytes, they are going to do. When you get that problem, they are going to protect. They are going to produce those antibodies. And then after producing antibody, they are going now, the role of antibodies. You know, what's the role of antibody? Is to kill pathogens, to kill bacteria. When those bacteria are killed, you are safe. You don't get any disease. That's the role of what? Of these lymph nodes. Then, what you have to know about this. When those bacteria are engulfed, they can be also accumulated in the what? In the lymph nodes. If they are accumulated in the lymph nodes, those lymph nodes, they are different. They are found everywhere in the body. So if the bacteria are accumulated in the lymph nodes, what's going to happen? Sometime, those lymph nodes, they are going to swell. And then, have you seen this when you get a disease, for example? Then you feel something in your body, there are some swelling. The swelling you hear in your body, those are the lymph nodes. Actually, they accumulated those bacteria. So that after, they reproduce what? Antibodies to kill those bacteria. Then you get safe. Another law of these lymph nodes is just to do what? To filter. They filter out the foreign what? The foreign particles. The foreign particles, like bacteria. And what? And dead tissue, before they enter into the blood system. Now, because we have two systems, we have the blood circulatory system and this lymphatic system, when there is this lymphatic system, the lymph nodes has to do what? To filter. Suppose bacteria, they are there, because sometimes in the cells, you can find those bacteria, you can find those infectious pathogens. And when they reach in the lymphatic system, the lymph nodes is there just to do what? To filtrate out, so that bacteria cannot get into the what? Into the blood. Even other toxic material, even dead tissues, dead cells, they cannot turn into the blood. That's why they are going to be remain there, and then after they are going to be eaten by what? By large white blood cells. Then our blood is safe. So that's why this lymphatic system is very important. And then you have to know, because it is a transport system also, what is a fluid that is flowing in the lymphatic system? The fluid that's flowing there is what we call lymph. This is, what is lymph? Is a fluid tissue that flow into lymphatic system. Actually, in the lymphatic system, we don't have blood. We have a fluid called what? Called the lymph. Lymph is a tissue fluid. Is a fluid tissue or a tissue fluid. What is a fluid tissue or a tissue fluid? What's that? Can you try? Oh, nice, you can try. 1 second. Oh, nice. What you are saying is okay. She's saying a tissue fluid is what? Is a plasma. A plasma without what? Without proteins. That is what you call tissue fluid. Is a plasma without proteins, without plasma protein, actually, proteins. Those proteins we are talking about is about the plasma proteins. Can you give some examples of this plasma protein? Yes, you can try. 1, fibrinogen, you're right. You can also try again. Oh, globulins, you are right. Again. Oh, albumine, good. Oh, nice. Albumins. You can try another plasma protein that we can found in the plasma. Oh, thrombin, nice. Thrombin. Good. All these proteins, they are not found in the what? In tissue fluids. But all other components of the plasma, they are found in the tissue fluid. Can you give examples of the component that you can find in the blood plasma? You know what blood plasma is? What is a liquid part of the blood. In the blood plasma, we have what? We have these all nutrients. We have even waste products, water, ions, all those, they are found in the what? In the plasma. Even in the plasma, you can have those plasma protein. But if you take the plasma minus plasma protein, what remains with what? Is what you call tissue fluid. And now, tissue fluid that saturates in what? In the lymphatic system is what you call lymph. The lymph is a fluid tissue that flows into the lymphatic system. That is the lymph. And then you can ask yourself, In the blood system, you have those blood vessels. In the lymphatic system, do you have vessels? Yes, of course. You have what you call lymph vessels. Is where this lymph is going to do to flow. Nice. Now, let's see. You see on the screen what's going on. It shows how the tissue fluid and the lymph is formed. Let me use a diagram here on the chalkboard so that you can get well this. Now, tissue fluid formation. How this tissue fluid is going to be formed? It's going to be formed by a process called erythrophiltration. What is erythrophiltration? When the large molecules that comes from the blood, they are going to pass across what you call capillary, then get into the cells. When they reach into the cells, they form what you call tissue fluids. You can see. We have this. Suppose this is what you call artery. Sometimes it is arteriole, the small artery. And this one comes with oxygenated blood. This oxygenated blood contains all the nutrients that is needed by what? By the cells. And then here you have cells. Then when the nutrient comes here, this is the capillary. This is what you call venule, small vein. That bring back the blood to the heart. When this blood comes, all material it contains, excluding what? Excluding those large proteins. They are going to pass into the cells. For example, water gets into the cells, oxygen gets into the cells, glucose into the cells, amino acids into the cells. When those reaches here, they form what you call tissue fluid. So it gets here due to the pressure, blood pressure, hydrostatic pressure that causes this to get into the cells. And then, because all the nutrients that contain in the blood cells have get into the cells to form tissue fluids, sometimes here there is lower pressure. That's why some can get into this capillary again. And then the excess one, the excess tissue fluid, that is not used by what? By excess tissue fluid, that is not used by what? By cells. They get into another system called lymphatic system. Here we have lymph vessel, and then here what is going to circulate here is what you call a lymph. That contains those nutrients, and then this is what you call a lymph node. And then lymph nodes, as we have said, it filtrates. It filtrates what? Bacteria, they are going to be removed, and the other harmful material, they are going to remain, they are going to die. This will filtrate. Then the good one, like oxygen, nutrients, and so on, they have to turn back into the what? Into the blood circulatory system. They get into the venule, yes. And then this venule is going to transport what? To transport all those substances back into the heart. And then, you see, this fluid that's circulating is what you call lymph, tissue fluid, lymph. Then, back on this diagram, it is the same. Here you have artery, then it carry out those nutrients. They are coming, then the capillary, when they reach here, they have now to across the capillary, because capillary is what? Is permeable. They are now getting into the cells. When they reach into the cells, then here there is pressure is reduced. They have to go back into the arteries. They should go back into the arteries so that it can be transported by what? By those veins. This blood is now, it is deoxygenated. Then the excess, they pass into the lymph. the lymph capillary. This one is a lymph. Then when it reaches here, there is a lymph node that's going to filtrate. Then to go back into the blood circulatory system. Hope you get something. Is it clear? Are you okay? Are you understanding this? Who understands this can do like this? Oh, nice, good. Let's go to the comparison of blood and the lymph. If we say comparison, what do you understand about that? Is to give similarity and what? And differences. Blood and the lymph, they have similarity. Both are what? Are fluid in nature. Both, they contain white blood cells. As we have said in the lymph, we have these lymphocytes. Also in the blood, we have those white blood cells. Or both blood and lymph, they do carry what? Carry material, nutrient, and respiratory gases. Go for the differences. Blood is pumped by the heart, while lymph is not pumped by the heart, just is propelled by what? By muscular activity. Blood flow via blood vessels, and then lymph flow via lymphatic vessels. And then blood contains more blood cells, while for the lymph they do contain what? Few blood vessels, less blood vessels, or sometimes no. Blood is colorless, is red in color because it contains what? It contains this erythrocyte, hemoglobin. For lymph, it is colorless because there is no red what? No red blood cells, no erythrocyte, no hemoglobin. Now, it has less lipids. Blood has less lipids, while this lymph has more lipids. Now we can see the differences. Actually, comparison between blood vascular system and what? And the lymphatic system. Similarities. They both consist of vessels, as we have seen for the blood circulatory system. We have three types of what? Three types of vessels. Can you remind that? We have artery, you are right. We have capillary, you are right. You have vein, all those vessels. Then for also lymphatic system, we have vessels. We have this lymph capillary, we have lymph vessels. All those, they are vessels. So that's why we say both systems, they do contain what? Vessels. They do also contain fluids, or both. For example, blood circulatory system contain fluid called what? Blood, while the lymphatic system contain a fluid called lymph. They do both have what? Valves. Now we can see the differences. Difference is number one. Blood vascular system, they have three types of blood vessels, including arteries, vein, and capillary. Do you remember what arteries do? Yeah, they carry blood from the heart to all parts of the body. While vein, they bring back the blood to the heart. While vein, they do what? Capillary, they do connect vein and artery. For lymphatic system, they have one type of lymph vessels, which is lymph vessels. And then another difference is that for blood vascular system, they have valves. Even lymphatic system, they have valves throughout in all parts. But for blood vascular system, those valves are found only in the vein. They have heart. Blood vascular system has heart, but the lymphatic system does not have what? Heart. Blood flow at the higher pressure in the blood vascular system, while for lymphatic system, the blood flow at lower pressure. The fluid which is transported in the blood vascular system is a blood, while the fluid which is transported in what? In the lymphatic system is lymph. Yeah, blood consists of, as we have said, in the blood vascular system, we have more blood cells. While for lymphatic system, you have single type of what? Of cells, which is lymphocyte. Now, our homework. This homework, you have to do it seriously, very seriously. Question number 1. You are going to describe the structure of the lymphatic system. If I talk about distribution of this lymphatic system, what are you going to do? You are going to do all the components that make this lymphatic system. And even if is to describe, you have also to mention what? To mention the function of each part. Are you getting this? And then, after doing that, I need you to yes, you can make also the research, more research on this question, the lymphatic system. More research you can add on what you have seen. The second one is to compare blood and lymph. As I have said, if we talk about comparison, you have to give what? Similarities and what? And the differences. So which means you are going to give the similarity between blood and the lymph. We have many similarities. Let me try one. If you say blood and the lymph, they are all fluids. That is, it's what they just both have at the same time. Then you give more. Then you also come to the differences. We have many differences. I can give example, then others you will do it for yourself. Like those, both they do carry what? Nutrients and respiratory gases. It's nice. That's what you do. You give like 5 differences. And then the last question, outline 4 differences between blood, vascular system and the lymphatic system. 4 differences. We have seen more, but make sure you do more than what you have seen. And then make sure you make the research also about more similarities and differences. I thank you so much for attending the class. I hope you get something. And then continue revising. Remember, at the end, we shall have the big test. So make sure you revise everything. Don't lose your time, because now it is your time to get what? To get more content, then you become clever. Thank you. Nice. See you next time. Bye.